right, guys. So, welcome to Artistry to Heart. I'm Veronica Johnson. And if it's your first time, welcome. If you are returning, thank you so much. Today, we have some super fun stuff in store. I have one of my favorite humans, and she's amazing, inspiring. I adore her. I love her. So, we have Lauren Holovka from Lauriere with us today. Hi, Mama.
Hi,
How are
I'm
you?
good. Thank you so much
Ah,
for having
thank you
me.
for saying yes. I'm
I'm
super
so excited. I'm
excited.
honored
Ah,
and I'm super excited.
I mean, I adore you.
I adore you.
I feel like we connected just randomly,
Yeah,
honestly, and then we just started working doing like content
yeah,
during COVID, the fun COVID days.
those
And
were
I don't
fun.
know, we just like clicked. I was really like your stuff. If you, for those who don't know, Lauren is a designer. She makes couture robes,
Yes,
and we're gonna go into details with that because she's just elevated her brand. She's when I tell you inspiring. And we're just coming off her second year of Fashion Week in the city,
yes,
Bridal Fashion Week, right?
yes,
So let's get into this. So Le Lauriere, where is it from? Where is it? What inspired you to create it? Talk to me a
yes.
little bit about it.
Well, first and foremost, you're
Of
amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
course, of course.
Your just your soul, your love, you are incredible,
Oh,
and it shows throughout your work. It shows throughout everyone who works with you, and I appreciate you having me here
I'm not gonna
today.
cry today. Stop.
I just had to say that
I
because
appreciate
and
you.
even your podcast name, like everything really does come from your heart, and I see it, and everyone around us sees it.
Appreciate you.
Um, yeah, so my brand, Le Lauriere, we started in 2018 with custom couture bridal robes. Uh, it was something that I noticed was a miss in the market. I noticed that bridal robes really were overlooked and back 5 years ago, brides were getting ready in maybe a zip-up hoodie, maybe like
Pajamas.
a silk robe that said bride in the
Yeah.
back, which is pretty. And when my sister-in-law and a good friend of mine were both getting married at the same time, my good friend had said, maybe we can make something for me to get ready in. And I was like, oh my God, I have to do
Say no
this.
more.
So I took a bridal robe and I created it to be custom couture. And I was adding lace appliques, things you would see on a wedding gown.
Yeah.
So it wasn't seen before. And I was adding lace applique. I was using French laces, Chantilly laces. And
Everything
before I knew it, it was a dress. And that's where the dress before the dress came
became a
from.
thing. You are a
Yes.
huge staple in this industry, in this
Thank you.
wedding world. When you see the dress before the dress, automatically they're like, "Yep, it's Lauren.
Thank you so
Say no more." And it's
much.
like you have like this special, I don't know, it comes out the bag and it just screams you. It's
Thank
not like
you.
overpowering. It just has this detail, this elegance, this
Oh,
moment.
I
Honestly, when it
appreciate
comes out the
that.
bag, I kid you not. I know it sounds so cliche to say it, but
Oh,
like when I see one of my brides in one of your robes, it just is like
and I love the text I get. You're
it's
like, I knew
everything,
you did this.
girl. Like every time I'm like, girl, you killed
Yes.
this one, girl. This like it's everything. Like
I love
you
that.
do it with such grace, but it's so
Thank
like
you so
it hits every
much.
time, girl. Hits every
Thank you.
time.
I love doing the dress before the
I can
dress,
tell.
and our brides, they love it
Yeah.
because if they didn't get to have a custom wedding gown, they really shine with the custom
I
bridal
never even saw
robes.
it that way. That actually like it
Yeah.
adds a little bit more like I actually got something made for me.
Right.
Huh.
So if my bride didn't get to have, let's say, an off the shoulder wedding gown and they really wanted it, they incorporate that into their bridal robe. If they didn't get to have that, like, open back, they incorporate that into their
I
bridal
see
robe.
that. It's crazy you're
If,
saying this and it all
mm-hmm.
makes sense now. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you just say, oh, it's just a robe, but it's like a beautiful robe.
right.
I never saw it as that detailed. Now that you say it. That's so
Absolutely.
wild.
And they really get to have fun with it and they get to be creative. And you see them just light up when they're designing with me and we're picking fabrics. And, at the end result, they are so excited to see what we both created.
So do they just now your studio is in Brooklyn, correct?
Yes, Carroll Gardens,
Carroll
Brooklyn.
Gardens, and kind of go into that. I know you told me something
So,
about your family being there for over 100 years, so it's
yes.
super super special.
So, if anyone is familiar with the neighborhood of Carroll Gardens, it is so it's beautiful. It is like a beautiful community. The brownstones in the neighborhood I love them. And my family has been there for 100 years. Yeah.
That's
My great
amazing.
grandparents came from Italy. They moved to Carroll Street and my grandparents, my father, they grew up there, and it's beautiful, and I knew when I was ready to, one day, you never know, but I was like, "One day, if I ever have a store, this is where I would want it to
And look at
be."
you.
And the first store I saw, that was it. I signed and I was like, "This is it." It's so tiny, but so cute,
So
so
what?
me, so
Yeah.
just, like, intimate,
And I think that's
and
the beauty. I feel like when people go to you, you feel and
yeah.
people talk about you. Like people I'll literally say, "Is your dress from Lauren?" They're like, "Oh, I love her. She's" people
Aw,
feel that, like, just the connection because
thank
it's
you.
so personal. So I think that's
I
pretty beautiful.
try. I really do. I try to, like, definitely connect with every single bride. I'm sure you do
Yeah.
too, because when they choose you, it's an honor. And I'm sure you feel that too when your
So
bride,
true.
they come to you for their hair. It's like they want you to be a part of their day.
Mhm.
So it's just so special, and I try to make everyone's experience the
So
best.
unique, I will say that. That's
Yes.
the word that's coming to, like, I feel you make it so unique for the
Yeah.
girls. Now when they come, do you guys, like, go through fabrics, or
Yes.
do you, like, just do you free sketch? Am I saying that
So,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
So some every bride is different.
Okay.
Every bride is different, and a lot of the brides will come in and know exactly what they
They
want.
won't.
And as soon as they tell me their idea, I'm like, I need to draw right now so I can get this down on paper. Other brides, they want to try on pieces, they want to see the collection, they want
Mm,
to see photos of our pieces. So some other brides, they definitely need to have a little bit more of inspiration,
yeah.
but everyone's process is different.
And I
But
feel like you have one of ones, right? You don't have, like, 10 of the same ones as
no,
far as the makeup robe, because 'cause we're gonna get into that, which I'm
yes.
so proud of you,
Thank
like
you.
so you have one of ones, right? So no piece
Yes,
is ever the same, right?
never.
Yeah, that's what
And I
I
think
love that.
thank you so much. I think every bride who I've worked with, they love and appreciate that as well. Because past brides that I've worked with appreciate that another bride is not going to have the same
Same.
piece.
So true.
And I think it makes it even more special, and every single bride is unique and has a different piece.
Yeah.
So the silhouettes may be the same, but the beading
It's
detail
never
is never the same,
Well,
ever.
we were just talking, I laughed because we did content the other day,
Yeah.
and you did it for a master class, and that
Mhm.
same piece, you literally, like, cut in half and sent it to
Yes.
me in an Uber, and you're like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is completely different, but it's the
Different.
same thing, if that makes any
Yes.
sense." It's wild, like,
Yes.
how you're just so like, it's
Yes. I That's
amazing. That's
huge with
just
me. I feel like everyone and should have a different
look,
look
I
because
agree.
it's unique to them.
So let's get into this, the
The hair
hair
and
and
makeup
makeup
robe.
robe. Can we talk about this?
We
How
can.
it was so needed in their industry because people, including myself, I'm the one shimming it off their shoulders,
Yep.
tying it on their waist, and
Yep.
hoping a boob doesn't pop out
Right.
during pictures.
It's true.
And I think you saw there was a need for it, and
Absolutely.
you patented it, which is a big deal, so
Thank
congratulations.
you.
I'm probably saying it wrong,
Design patent.
design patent, the correct
Yes.
proper word for it, which is a really big deal because 'cause I'm sure that took
Thank
a lot of
you.
work to get approved and all
It
that,
did.
so let's talk a little how you got into, like, that, like, what made you like,
Thank you.
"This is what I'm gonna do, let's go for it."
So, being that I designed custom couture robes, I was noticing for the hair and makeup process, definitely, more for the makeup process, the brides or the artists were shimmering the robes off the shoulder.
Shoulders.
So, to, obviously blend everything nicely. And then for that photo, you would always see like the brides holding their chest
Chest
up
up.
or, just making
How many
sure.
nipples have we seen because of this, honestly?
Ah, maybe 1 or 2,
Yeah,
no.
honestly.
So, I was sitting and I was like, "I have to help, I have to think of something," and I was already doing off the shoulder robes, like the dress
Yes.
before the dress, which was never done before either. So, I thought about it, I'm like, "I need to do an off the shoulder robe that's washable, that is friendly for hair and makeup, and is something that just slips on and
Oh,
off." So, that's when we did a design patent on an off the shoulder hair and makeup robe.
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And I mean, makeup artists love it, hairstylists love it, the brides love it.
And now it's actually being featured through and sold by
Macy's,
Macy's, that's a
yes,
big deal, like,
I
I'm just
know.
gonna gush the whole time.
I
I see
was
these things and I'm like, "This is a big deal, girl."
it was. I
So
mean,
proud.
to be just noticed and by them and to have our product sold by them is incredible. I'm
Yeah.
so honored and grateful. I was literally hysterical crying when I found out. I'm
That's
such a baby,
well, I feel like it
but
just shows, honestly, your worth ethic
thank
and
you.
just the consistency and the drive.
Thank
Like, that's
you.
a I just when I remember, I mean, all of us were, like, flooding, I'm sure, your timeline when we found out, because 'cause I'm like,
I
"This
was
is a
so
big deal."
overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and I can't thank everyone enough for the continued support and love everyone shows my brand.
Ugh.
It means the world to me, truly.
Well, let's talk about this fashion show, girl, because
Oh.
I walked in and I was like, "Hello." She did not like, me and Brandon enjoyed ourselves from the moment we were outside the building.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
we walked in and it was just like this just showcase of your work and then the sketches that you
Yeah.
did. I was like, "Why is she genius?" Like, it was such a beautiful touch to the event, and then we weren't even
Thank
in the
you.
space yet, and I'm like
Thank
we
you.
got upstairs, I'm like, no detail was, like, left out. You just and you did this. So
Yes,
so tell me, like, go
definitely.
into, like, what's
I
the
will.
process? Like,
The process is always scary. I mean, anytime you're planning something with your heart, your soul, your collection, your work on display for, the industry to view is definitely a little scary
scary.
and nerve-wracking, but I try and stay calm always and
Which I
just
will say your demeanor is so calm. Sometimes I'm
think
like,
so are you.
"Do it?" 'Cause I feel like sometimes in my head I'm like, "Ah!"
Maybe in our
In
heads,
our
but
heads, right?
we try really hard. Yeah, my whole goal was from the moment you walked in, I wanted everyone to have an
Mhm.
experience, and that was the goal on the ground level when you entered before you got up to the rooftop. I wanted everyone who may not have known me so well or
Yes.
maybe is new to our brand, I wanted them to experience our story. So that's why I had the dress before the dress as their first mannequin
Yeah.
with a little story card. I wanted them to understand that, our brand really grew with the dress before the dress.
Yeah.
And that's how we grew up. And then it went from the hair and makeup robe and now wedding gowns.
Wedding gown.
So this is our second full collection of wedding gowns.
So wild.
And then the illustrations were from Handmade Highlights, which is
So good.
she is incredible.
And there
She's
was
based
such
out of
a
California.
like, unique to the I felt like I felt you, but
Thank
it was,
you.
like, another artist, obviously, that
Yeah.
sketched them, but it was
Yes.
so, like, an even blend that, like, I don't know, like,
She's
the colors
incredible.
they use, it was
Highly
so
recommend.
good. Like, I told
Yeah.
Brian, I was like, "This"
And the sweetest soul.
oh,
I love working with people who do everything with their heart and
I
soul
agree. I
because
agree.
you feel it. And that's when I think the best outcome
I
happens
agree. I
because it
agree.
really does take a village.
So, when I walked upstairs, it was crazy because I guess I didn't I thought I was gonna, like, sit down and see a show.
Right?
No, you had girls already standing up there, like, "Hello, come
Yes.
see me. We're ready for you." And it
Yes.
was like, "Oh my god, like, can we touch this? Like, can we, like, feel it?" Like, it was just almost like it was such a really cool moment because you don't see
Thank
much of that,
you.
like, people just standing around, like, it was
Right.
and I will say you felt the models feel so beautiful, like, they were floating. I keep
Thank you
saying that, but
so
they were just
much.
floating. What, like, inspired you to do that concept of almost like a visual and then a runway?
So basically what I envisioned, I wanted when everyone came upstairs to the rooftop, I wanted them to see the dress before the dress.
Yeah,
I wanted them to experience our couture bridal robes and how we really elevated the getting ready routine with these pieces
yeah.
and how they're all so different and the fabrics we were using. And these were actually my real brides.
N You know, it's funny you say that because I spotted 2,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Did she do what I think she did?
I did.
I think she did." Like,
I
it was you
contacted
felt
them.
it. And I think like, it's funny because I didn't know that,
Yeah,
but you felt it on them, like, they just felt so confident, and, like, they were
they were
just like
amazing.
yeah, it was such a moment.
I contacted them and I said, I'm doing a fashion show for New York Bridal Fashion Week, and I want to do a presentation of the dress before the dress before my runway. And, because of you girls and these designs, you girls have helped me elevate my brand. And I want to display it. I want to display you girls. And they were so excited. And they just said yes. And they got hair and makeup done. We got headpieces by Bridal Styles Boutique,
Oh, I love
hair and
them.
makeup by D'Amelio
Love
Cosmetics.
her.
Um, so they got to go in full glam
Yeah,
again, put on their pieces again, which they loved because, when do you get to
so
rewear
true.
it?
It's so true.
And they just had a great, great day. And then they got changed and enjoyed the rest of the show.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
And, like, you did make your outfit, correct?
I
It was,
did.
like, just a whole moment you walked out, you were, like, in this black outfit, and I was like, "Oh, hey.
Thank
Hey,
you.
girl." But it's so funny because I said hi to you, and I was like, "This poor girl, there's like 100 people wanna hug her, like, bombard her,
Oh,
and we
I
just wanna, like,
loved
love
it.
on
I
you."
loved
It
all the
was
love and the hugs. I
oh,
felt just
you
amazing.
felt every ounce of it. So, as far as, like, fashion show-wise, did you, like, reach out to, like, vendors and they came? And,
Yes.
like, how was that process of even, like, reaching out to, like, vendor friends? Like, "Hey, do you wanna be a part of this?" Like,
So,
'cause
I
I know that could be
think
nerve-wracking,
it
like, asking
is.
someone to be a part of such a big production, because it
It is
was.
nerve-wracking, and you never know, everyone's so busy, and
Yeah,
I understand that, we're definitely busy. We all have brides, we all in the industry, it's
I
bridal
know.
season. So, I picked a Thursday, which, hopefully I was hoping that everyone was kinda free,
Yeah, it was a good day. It
and yeah,
was a good
and
day.
thank God,
Yeah.
beautiful day out.
And can we mention the sunset?
No, I think we have the sunset. I prayed every
We
single
felt and
day.
I said this to you,
You
I
did.
felt it. When I
I
walked
prayed.
in, there was something about the sky just kissing the venue,
Oh my
and I'm
goodness,
like,
that
"She could not
sunset.
have gotten a more beautiful, well-deserved
Yeah,
day."
thank you
Like, it
so
was
much.
just when the girls walked in, it was like they were walking on the clouds, like, it was
That's oh,
wild.
I wanna go back.
I mean, it was
So,
incredible.
when I reached out to the vendors, I said to them, I was like, "I'm having my second show and, I'm doing it by myself. I really would love if you would be a part of it." And everyone just so graciously said yes and whatever
Love
I
it.
needed. And again, like I said, I just love working with friends and vendors they just give their heart and soul.
So into
And
it.
that's when like the event is just, I didn't have to worry about anything
Yeah.
because everyone is so professional and I knew they got it. I
And
knew
that's I
it.
think that's really cool to have, vendor friends.
It's so
I think it's
important.
having that community, I feel like it's a big part of everyone's story,
Mhm.
good and bad, right? Sometimes we
Absolutely.
run across people that
Listen,
aren't
it
the
happens.
nicest, right? And then
Yeah.
you run across a lot more people that are just like, they're rooting for you. And I've always
Yeah.
said this, there is nothing greater. And like prime example, when I went to your event on Thursday, I saw you just winning. And
Thank
that
you.
just made me like my heart explode. 'Cause I'm like, she's winning. This is
Thank
what it's
you.
about. Like, we don't have to like hide or like
Yeah.
steal or like this is for me. No, like we can all win. And I think that's what
It's
everybody
true.
in that room felt for you. And it was like it's a rare event that, like, you don't feel cattiness or it was such a
Yeah.
beautiful like, everybody just wants to see everybody have a good time and win,
Yes.
and I thought that was really, really beautiful,
Thank
so
you so
it's
much.
a huge reflection on you, but
Thank you.
in the same breath, how do you feel like you deal with, like, difficult in any area? Like, with a bride not liking something
Mhm.
or a bride having maybe a request that isn't realistic, like, how do you
Mhm.
feel like you work through that?
Like I said, I'm very calm and I like to ask a lot of questions to my brides. I am number one queen of options. I always tell my brides this. So, in any design process, especially custom, you never really know what the outcome could be. So, it could look like one thing on a sketch and a bride may, vision that.
Envision, I didn't even think
And
of
as
that.
we're creating it, it maybe look like something else that they
Yeah,
thought otherwise. So I just like to reassure them that no matter what happens, we could always change it.
I love that.
We could always, add a sleeve or add width or pull up the hem. So there's always room for that. This is custom. This is why you're coming
Yeah,
to a custom designer.
so true.
And I will go to the ends of the earth for my brides. I will
I love
do
that. I think we
anything to
speak
make
that
them
same love
happy.
language, so
Yeah.
I get that.
So if I will not sleep until they're happy. It
Ugh,
hasn't happened,
I know,
but
thank God, right?
if it does,
But I feel like too, you're just so like you said, you're just so calm and like I feel like having that communication I think is really important with our
it's so
brides.
important.
Like
Communication is key.
with at least with us, I always talk about this how like even let's say a bride isn't like, "Oh, I trust you." I will hop on a phone call or a FaceTime
Mhm.
and like we'll talk hair. I want to see your hair with the
Absolutely.
extensions, the headpiece. Like I'm not
Yes.
walking in just completely raw on the day of and like
Mhm.
wish for the best. And I always
No,
say
you can't do that.
I think communication is so
And I think
important.
that, first of all, I know because I talk to so many brides and they love speaking with the vendors. They love speaking with
They
us.
want
And
accessibility.
yes,
Accessibility is so important.
they love just like knowing that we got it. We are
Mhm.
taking care of you. And it's true.
It's so true.
And, I'm not there yet, but when I am there, I'm sure all my vendor friends will be the same way. So everyone's just amazing.
So good. And I know you come from sewing or designing, right?
Yes.
Who kind of passed that on to you?
My grandmother.
Wanna talk to me a little bit about her?
Yeah. My little grandma. She's so cute. So my grandma taught me how to sew. She used to sew my dance costumes, my dresses, my
Oh, I
Christmas photo.
love.
So cute. And, she has dementia now, but she don't remember.
That's tough.
It's so tough because I wanna tell her so much, and she doesn't really remember.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Grandma, look what I did," and she's like, "How'd you learn that?" I'm like,
Oh,
"You." She's like, "No, not me." I'm like, "Yes, you." And then I'll show her things she made, and I'll be like, "Grandma, you made this," and she's like, "No way."
that's tough.
Yeah, but not too long ago, I actually was sewing and I was cutting applique. So I gave her the applique to cut out and she did it.
She did it. See?
Perfect.
It's that, muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Grandma, look what you did. You cut this
That's
out
so
perfectly."
good.
She goes, "No, you did that." I'm like, "No, I didn't."
That's so good, that's good.
She's the cutest thing
Uh,
ever.
how do you pull inspiration? Because I feel like not that it's repetitive, right? But I'm sure you get a lot of brides that come in with kinda similar requests and, like,
Mhm.
how do you process, like, "This is gonna be different?" Like, what attracts you to that?
So I love seeing fabrics first.
Mm,
And then I can see fabric and I know right away this is going to be a fit and flare gown. This is going to be a ball gown. This is going to be the bust and that's going to be the bottom. So I love seeing fabrics first. I love feeling fabrics. I love that. And that's where I get my inspiration from. Um, a lot of my brides, they'll come in and they'll view my collection and they'll get inspired by something. And then
something you've done already.
yeah, and then we kind of turn it into something else. So it's just a really
It's
fun
pretty
creative
cool.
process, and every bride, like I said, is so different. So each bride inspires me differently,
That's so true.
and
That's such a
they
good point.
sometimes even challenge me because I'm still growing too. I'm
And I
still,
love that. I
yeah,
love that you said that because I feel like sometimes people see, "Oh, she's made it."
no,
Or, "Oh, she like, look, she had, like, this beautiful show," like
mm-mm,
and I feel like people don't see and this is really what Artistry to Heart was birthed from, is
yeah,
seeing people being vulnerable and they're human and,
oh yeah,
we don't always have it all together,
no,
right?
oh my goodness,
So,
no.
I guess what would be, like I always love this question, like, how do you get out of your own way? Like, what do you tell yourself? Is there something you
Oh my
do?
goodness. I go through all the emotions. Even when I'm making a collection, I love it, and then I don't love it,
Yeah.
and then,
That's the
I'll
artist in us, though.
it's so hard, and it's a constant, battle within yourself because you want to challenge yourself to be better than what you put out last
Yeah.
year, and then, create a trend or kind of, inspire others. But honestly, my goal is just to be a role model for others, to lift others, to just be a good example. I have cousins who are like, "Oh my god, look what you're doing." And I just want to like hug them like if I did this, you
You
can
can
do
do
this.
this. Ugh.
And it's just that's what gets me going.
I love that. I was having a conversation with someone earlier about this, how, I had a client once tell me, she was like, "Oh, you do classes, like, you're just giving away your talent." And I was like, "It's not mine for my it's not for me to hold."
Hold.
And I think,
Yeah.
unfortunately, not everybody thinks that way, but I think it's
Mhm.
so beautiful that you can have confidence within yourself and
Absolutely.
then still look at someone and say, "Hey, this is how I did it." And, like, I've said this to one of my assistants recently, I was like, money didn't get me where I am today. A
No.
lot of sucky moments
Yeah.
and growing from
Oh
it and
yeah.
really stretching and not breaking
Oh yeah.
is what got me here. Like,
It's so true,
do that free
Veronica.
event. Go do a shoot. Like, how many times
Yes.
have we done a shoot
You
together?
have
Like,
oh my god, so
$0, we're
fun.
invested,
Right.
but look at a relationship came out of it.
Absolutely.
Just
It got us
growth.
here
Yeah,
today.
like,
Yeah.
so I always tell girls, like, don't always look at the dollar amount in an event.
It's
Like,
true.
go support, go
It's
and invest,
so
go buy
true.
a product or do
Yes.
something. I think that's really key in this industry. I feel like sometimes people can gatekeep, right?
A little bit.
A little, or it could be mean, and I always wanna say, like, just be open,
Just be
be
open.
yeah. What do you see coming to your brand? Do you predict anything new coming? Are you seeing
We
brewing already?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot brewing, and I wish I can speak on it, but
I
I
know.
can't. There's a lot going on for
That's good
Les
to know.
Lauriere, and I, I'm just so grateful. Like I keep saying, there's no other words for it, and I just have to keep thanking, my brides, my vendor friends, everyone who's supporting us,
Yeah.
everyone who is wearing our designs, because it's because of everyone that we're growing. And I
It's
see it and I appreciate it and I love you all so much, really.
and it's funny because I just did a wedding recently, and the girl borrowed, I guess, one of her bridesmaids, and I know it's gonna sound so silly, right? But, like, you technically touched one bride, but that it's almost like a traveling robe, right? That, like,
Yes.
touches other people in certain ways that you physically didn't do it,
Right.
but it's like, I don't know, it's like this piece, like, speaks for itself, you feel it, like, it just
I love
does
that.
something, like and I saw it with my other bride, I'm like, "Mind you, she never met Lauren a day in her life, but she feels so beautiful in this thing," like,
Wow.
it's just wild, so I thought that was really pretty cool to see, and, like, from a vendor's perspective, we appreciate you because
Thank you.
how many times have we done somebody and have a sweater on? You're like, "Her hair was great, but she didn't have an outfit on," and mind you,
Right.
we don't stay till when they're in their dresses most of the time,
Right.
so it does something and
It
elevates.
elevates
Yeah.
the photos,
So we're
and
grateful for you.
thank you.
We're
I'm
grateful
grateful
for
for
you.
you.
Ugh,
Listen, it takes a
it
village. It
takes a
really
village.
does.
It takes a
Without,
village.
all of us and all the moving parts that comes into a bride's day,
So true.
we all appreciate each other. Takes a lot of people to get a bride going.
So let's say a designer, she's starting off and she's like, "I don't know, this world's too saturated or it's too
Yes.
hard." What do you say to her?
I think that was me. That was totally me. I graduated FIT in 2017. I'm scared.
So
I
this
didn't
was
know.
recent.
Yeah,
Lauren, stop it right
I
now.
swear.
I thought you were doing this for like 20 years already.
No. I graduated FIT
Stop it
as
right
a
now.
fashion design major. And while I was in FIT, I was interning and, just working. I'm a workaholic.
I know.
So
I speak that language.
I was interning. And after I graduated FIT, I got my first official job in Manhattan as a designer, assistant designer. And I was working corporate. And it was scary world. Corporate
Yeah,
is very scary.
very.
And you know, I would be designing and then my designs would go into a room full of people and then
It would
they would kind of nitpick
nitpick
them and see what they like and what fits the brand's, kind of style.
style.
So I liked it. I think every designer should experience that. Every designer should
Fair.
work for someone. I've learned a lot. I've learned what to do. I learned what not to do.
Mhm. And I'm sure a
And
lot more not to do's than to
absolutely.
do's.
And I knew, like, once I was starting my own company, I knew exactly what I was going to do and what I was not going to do from
Yeah,
my experience. And I felt like that really gave me strength and confidence. And I knew that I wanted to be someone who my, workers could look up to and find a friend in as well.
I love that because that's hard. So speaking on that, how? Because I for a while, I had a hard time with extending my brand, right? It's letting people in because this is my
Yeah,
baby. This is
yeah. It's
what
hard,
I've put together, like, I always thought it's just me, but
right?
no, I learned that for me to grow as a person and a brand, I had to trust others.
Absolutely.
How do you feel like you did that?
It's for me, it's gonna sound so weird, but everyone who is with me on my team somehow, some way came to me.
Same.
And I have never like hired anyone from a website.
Yeah,
I've met them naturally.
naturally.
And it just so happened that we were in conversation and we connected. And now I have an amazing
I love
team.
that.
I have a team now of about 10 ladies.
Stop it. That's amazing.
Yeah, between marketing, business end, seamstresses. It's incredible, and I love them all so much, and I would not be able to do what I do
I
without
love that.
all of them.
It's
And
pretty
it's
incredible.
important, so important to have a strong
I
foundation,
agree.
and to have people around you who want to see you grow and
Yeah.
lift you up, and also be honest with you.
Yeah, you just said it.
And I
Not
think
not to sugarcoat everything, like, "Hey,
no,
listen, that may be
I don't want
falling
a yes
off," or
person next to me. I
yeah,
want
like,
someone who is going to say, Lauren, I don't think that's a good idea,
I
or
love that.
let's maybe rethink this one. Because I think those are the people that really, really, really are important. Because sometimes, you could find people who are like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
They'll gas you until, like,
yeah,
there's no more. I actually speak of my assistant Steph. Steph changed my life. I've always said this, like, if it wasn't for her coming into my life, my business wouldn't be half of what
that's
it is right now.
amazing. Yeah,
And she's pushed me, she's
yeah,
stretched me so much. Like,
yes.
she looked at me, she's like, "Why are you not doing that? What's the problem today? Like, get it
And I'm
together."
sure
Like,
she loves that
she
you
loves it.
recognize her for that.
Oh,
And
like,
it's so important because I remember as a worker, I wasn't recognized for my hard
agreed,
work.
agreed,
And I worked so hard,
agreed.
so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all kinda had
Yeah,
a similar story as far as,
yeah,
like, we almost don't wanna be the person we were under for so long,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's a little, like, we have a little more compassion, I feel like, because we
I'm
went through just
so
yeah,
compassionate.
oh, I have so
I'm like,
much,
"Could I
like
get you a coffee? Do you need something? What can I do
same,
for you?"
same.
And
I
it's
think I called you, like,
just
13 times, I'm like, "Lauren, you okay? You need something?" Like, and I know
yes.
I had no business in nothing, I was like, "But you good? You need I can send you
It's so
something."
funny.
It's so true, and I think that's lending a hand in this industry, I think is really important and
It
beautiful, and
is.
it just creates, like I mean,
Creates magic.
I love our relationship, I love our
Same.
it's just when you have that, I think it's really important, so,
So important. I agree.
yeah,
I feel like we're very similar in that
yeah,
way, and
I
I love
agree.
that.
Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on
Thank you
today, you
so
were such a
much.
blessing. I wish you all the best, all
Thank
the
you so
love,
much. I had a great time.
and guys, there you have it, the beautiful Lauren, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you for next episode.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.